arrested this morning.
He's going to jail.
He went, he's back, he's on the course, and to his credit, despite him possibly being a giant a-hole, he's playing very, very well today. You can jump in, 617-779-7937. Jones and Mego with Arcan here on WEEI. Here's Darlington's report. Jeff Darlington from ESPN, who you heard there in the video. That's
Guys.
It's camera phone footage where basically he just said, guys, I'm media.
He was on the scene, though. No one else was there.
No.
Seeing him get arrested, he was there,
I think he was with Bob Wischusen. I've seen Bob Wischusen also was on site. But
that's the only video I've seen was his video.
They were like the two people there. So, no, he did a good job documenting it. I'm not sure how good of a job he's done about reporting the facts, but he did a good job documenting it. Here's what he reported this morning. Traffic outside the golf course had been stopped after a man was struck and killed by a shuttle bus around 5 a.m. Okay, so there was a death in Louisville, Kentucky today. And police are on the scene, diverting traffic, and I think Scheffler was running behind, not for his tee time, but running behind to get out onto the range and everything else. And so he decided to drive over the median and ignore a cop. Scheffler faces charges of second-degree assault of a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, and disregarding traffic signals from an officer directing traffic. The assault charge is a felony. The other are misdemeanors. According to Jeff Darlington, again, he's already been and come back out. He's on the course now. Jeff Darlington, who witnessed the incident, and this is where it gets into a he said, she said, Scheffler was trying to drive around the crash scene on a median. A police officer instructed Scheffler to stop, but Scheffler continued to drive about 10 to 20 yards towards the entrance. At one point, an officer attached himself, quote unquote, to the side of Scheffler's car. What does attached himself sound like? That sounds like the guy's like hitching a ride.
Yeah, it sounds like a bug.
It's like a tick on a dog is what it sounds like.
Reached in the window maybe?
Okay,
was holding on?
Attached himself. Let me just say the police report says something very different. Scheffler stopped his car as he turned into the entrance to Valhalla Golf Club. About 20 to 30 seconds later, Scheffler rolled down his window to talk to the officer. So he's sitting there with his window shut after this guy was hanging onto his car. He doesn't open his window. The officer grabbed Scheffler's arm to pull him out of the vehicle, according to Darlington. The officer reached inside the vehicle to open the door. And once Scheffler was pulled out, he was pushed against the car, placed in handcuffs. Darlington was standing at the entrance when Scheffler was detained. He said that Scheffler turned to him and said, "Can you help?" According to Darlington, an officer instructed him to back away, some of which you heard.
Guys.
The police report is, again, very different. The officer was hospitalized with pain, swelling, and abrasions in his left wrist and knee, according to Louisville police. His pants were also damaged after possibly being dragged by the vehicle.
T's and P's.
They were damaged beyond repair,
So
according to the police report.
Your thoughts. Whose side are we on here? We're on Scottie Scheffler's side, and the cop was on a power trip, or we're on the cop's side, and Scottie Scheffler thinks he's above the law?
I think both.
Okay.
Like
Let's pick one, though.
Okay. I'm going to side with Scottie, to be honest, because I don't think that we have all the information. I think both sides, whether it's Darlington's reporting or whether it's the police report, have a slant to them. You know, similar slant to maybe the way that the whistles are going in the Bruins-Panthers series. Okay, there's a slant to both of them. But what happened here where Scheffler is not able to get through, and he's the number one golfer in the world.
What happened?
And he can't get into the entrance.
A death. That's what happened. And so the police were on the scene.
Which is a tragic thing. But why are the police not able to just divert him over to another way to get in?
Well, they tried. He ran them over. Is what I think happened.
That's what the police report is alleging.
Arkin.
In my experience, having covered crimes, having just also personal experience, the police report is not always Bible.
No, that's fair, but like
I'm telling you that like both sides have slants to them.
Fine.
I'm not sure that anyone in this situation acted in good faith.
Let me tell you, Darlington's.
If I'm gonna side with one of them, I'm actually gonna side with Scheffler.
We haven't actually heard Scheffler's side of the story yet. We've only heard Jeff Darlington.
We have a statement. I'll read you a statement if you want. Basically, he did what he was instructed. If I'm summarizing it, but he put out a statement earlier today.
Okay,
I'm loading it. Statement from Scottie Scheffler to Jeff Darlington. Weird. Which, by the way, Darlington, I think, says some very borderline, I don't want to say incriminating, but like there's some details in Darlington's reporting where you're like, this guy's a prick. This morning, I was proceeding as directed by police officers in a very chaotic situation, understandably so, considering the tragic accident that had occurred earlier, and there was a big misunderstanding of what I thought I was being asked to do. I never intended to disregard any instructions. I'm hopeful to put this to the side and focus on golf today. I'm sure you are, buddy. Of course, all of us involved in the tournament express our deepest sympathies, blah, 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 right? Which he has to say. But you didn't seem too sympathetic when you were driving over medians and ignoring cops. So I think driving over the median is an interesting detail. I think him waiting 20 to 30 seconds to roll down his window is an interesting detail. It's like, if a cop is knocking on your window, what do you do?
That is a long time to wait.
That's a long-ass time to wait.
I'm wondering, like, what is he doing? Is he texting someone for help? Is he staring straight ahead?
I don't know.
Like, that's weird.
I don't know.
I'm putting the bong away. I'm trying to like put eye drops in. I'm trying to make sure everything's
What do you
okay.
make of it?
What I immediately thought of was Masai Ujiri. And when he was trying to get on the court after the Raptors beat the Warriors, remember that? And then the cop stopped him and he pushed the cop. Like, that's sort of what I was thinking. Like, all right, here's the sports analogy. The guy was supposed to be there. They didn't know who he was or they didn't recognize him. And it seemed like there was some sort
we
of
don't know that
it
could be a good comparison. We don't know.
It's a
I
good
don't
comparison to bring up.
But that's what I immediately thought of. I thought of that, and I thought in that instance the cop was wrong. The cop should have known who he was, and that should have been a different thing. In this case, what happened earlier in the morning is the big part of it here, I think, that has everybody kind of, that's why there was all this extra stuff going on. That's why they were diverting everybody. That's why they were being extra cautious. And that's why someone driving with a cop in the window or wherever he was and continuing to accelerate, they'd be on extra high alert for. So, I mean, that's sort of where I am. Like, if there was a cop on the car somewhere attached to the car and the car's moving, it's hard to say that that's an okay, like Scheffler's okay to do that.
Right.
You can't do that.
If a cop is hanging on the side of my car, I don't keep driving.
Right.
And furthermore, the police report says he's trying to stop Scheffler, and Scheffler ignored him and kept going. And so, like, to me, maybe it is a Messiah. I don't know until we see footage. Like, I don't really know. But
that's what we need. We need video.
We do.
It.
But it also could just be like a rich a-hole who thinks he's above the law.
Absolutely.
It easily could just be a guy who's like, whatever. All these morons have to sit in traffic, but I got a tee time to go get to. And like, I'm above it. I'm the best golfer in the world. Yeah. And that's what I think is going on. And I think another detail in there from Jeff Darlington is important. Hey, can you help me? Like, you need help from Jeff Darlington now?
Guys.
Like, can you help me? Oh, so you can even hear that in there. I didn't realize that. Play that again.
Him.
Guys,
can you please help me? Like, hey,
it's not the cop going, hey, media guy, can you help me?
I didn't even notice that the first time we played
please.
it. Yeah. Okay, can you please help me? Like, now you need help when you were just ignoring everybody and running people over and driving over the median and dragging a cop on your car?
Add, allegedly.
Okay. I have no sympathy whatsoever for Scottie Scheffler in this until I see video exonerating him. He just sounds like a rich a-hole at a tea time. That's all.
I'm surprised he's driving his own car.
It's not a tea time, Jones. It is his livelihood. He is the #1 golfer in the world going to a PGA
He's
event.
not the only golfer who had to go there. How come everybody else wasn't driving over the median, dragging cops?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, you're forcing me to be in a position where you're saying, take a side with this. Ultimately, I think that we don't have the real story.
Yeah, but
I'm also not just going to sit here and
that's
be
why
like,
it's a good story, because we don't know yet.
I feel so bad for the cops' pants.
If we know the story, it's not a good story anymore. That is just, we know what happened. So I'm asking you, who do you believe? In this case, I believe the Louisville Police Department.
Were they nice pants?
I don't believe rich a-hole Scottie Scheffler. I don't.
I got to be honest, I'm not the biggest golf head. Does Scheffler have a reputation as being a total entitled brat?
No, he has no reputation.
All golfers have that reputation?
I'm saying in that world.
No, he's like a drip dud, no personality guy. I mean, I don't.
A golfer.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about him. But aren't all golfers like that, Arcan?
Kinda, yeah. I mean,
so I don't know. In a lot of cases, he probably gets dragged out of his car, and a lot worse happens to him. Then he shows up to jail, and he gets to go back out and make his tea time later in the day, where they make all kinds of sacrifices and bend over backwards for this guy.
What seems to be the officer problem?
So, no, we'll find out eventually. We will, and if I see video exonerating him, I'll stand down, I'll bend the knee. I was wrong. Scottie Scheffler's a great guy. Louisville Police Department is corrupt. But in the meantime, who do I believe? Them, not him. 617-779.
I don't think you have to go that far.
What do you mean?
To be like, it's a corrupt police department.
I mean, it might be a corrupt police department. I mean, it certainly is. But in this certain case, is it their lack of judgment? I don't think so. He's driving over medians and he's ignoring cops. I'm guessing he thought he was above the law. And unfortunately, you're not, Scotty. Sorry. You might be the best golfer in the world. You might win the PGA championship. You're not above the law.